Thank you for browsing page 121. Today we're going to jump into the world of Greyhawk and we're going to take a look at the kingdom of Celene. This is an elven kingdom surrounded by hostile creatures, etc., etc. It's a great place to have adventures or have adventurers come from. You've got that all-elven party that everybody talked about running. Celene's a great place for them to have come from. I have had several players choose Celene as their homeland over the years of my Greyhawk campaign, and it's a good place to start. Celene has got a lot of adventure around it. It's got the Cron Hills to the north, the Lort Mills to the west, the Sus Forest and Welkwood to its east. It's a kind of triangular shape almost, but it's a pretty neat little place. It is very insular. It doesn't want a lot of outsiders coming in and disrupting its elven harmony, but it can be a great place to adventure. So we're going to take a look at in the Golden Book from the 1983 box set, and this is the catalog of the Lands of the Flayness. And there we have the entry for Celene. Celene, Kingdom of, ruled by her Fey Majesty Yolanda, Queen of Celene, Lady Ralta of all elven kind. Capital is Enstadt with population of 6,950. Total population of the country is 20,000. Demi-humans would be Grey Elves, 9,500. Sylvan Elves, 8,000. Gnomes, 13,500, mostly in the Lort Mills, and Halflings. Humanoids, none. Resources are foodstuffs, stuffs, cloth, and silver. This small land west of the wild coast, beyond the Welkwood, has long been under rule of the Elven folk. Although they are good creatures, they do not welcome strangers, with cause, and little certain knowledge of Celene or its court exists. This realm is friendly to the Uluk states, with an alliance between Celene and these countries responsible for the campaigns which drove all the humanoids from the Lort Mill Mountains, although the defeated forces of humanoids subsequently invaded and took over the Pole March. A small number of humans and half-elven folk dwell in Celene, many serving the military, for continual warfare is carried on in the Sus Forest and beyond the Jewel River with the Pole March humanoid tribes. So that's it, just a quick thumbnail of what Celene has from the 1983 book. Now this has been expanded on other sources over the years, but I just want to talk a little bit about how I've incorporated it into my campaign. You have Celene right here. You have the city of Greyhawk just up here. So there's Greyhawk right there. Here's Celene. You've got divers right here. You've got the gnarly forest and the Welkwood right there, and then the Sus. You've got a lot of adventuring areas right around here. And this was a lot of the early days of AD&D, of Greyhawk. You've got Verbabank right here. The Temple of Elemental Evil is right around this area. There's a lot of good stuff you can do here. So from the capital of Enstadt, you have the Lort Mill Mountains, not terribly far away, and the hateful wars were fought there. That's where the elves, the gnomes, and the other dwellers of the Lort Mill Mountains and Celene decided to drive all the humanoids out of those mountains and stop all the raids and such. The Queen Yolanda's consort was killed during those fights. She's an interesting character. I've used her as an NPC several times in my game, always aloof and the ruling monarch, and player characters have to defer and things like that. But it can be a lot of fun for you. Celene's a great place if you've got that all-elven party or a lot of elves in your group, which happens quite a bit. Elves are very favored, at least at my table. And Celene's a good place to have them come from because you can get some deep lore on them. Melf, Prince Brightflame, was from Celene. He is one of the player characters that wandered around the original Gygax campaign. M-E-L-F, male elf, Melf, was his character. I have an actual Melf character that I played in my game. I haven't played Melf in at least 20 years. But that was the same Melf. I thought it was a cool idea. I introduced a character, fighter magic user, an elf, and I had him come from Celene, and I wrote a lot of his backstory in. So Celene itself is not going to be a ton of adventuring because it's very well patrolled by the elves. You're not going to be able to really do much of anything that you wouldn't ordinarily do. You trade and travel through and such if they allow it. You can't get into a ton of adventures in Celene itself unless, of course, the DM makes something up that takes place in Celene. I did a story that took place at Enstadt one time where the players had to thwart the assassination of Queen Yolanda. That was a lot of fun. I've also used Enstadt in a couple of other games. In the second Gord the Rogue novel, Artifact of Evil, we get a really good look at Celene. Gord and his party, for various reasons, are in the Walkwood, the Sus, and they end up in Celene and travel there, and it's a night of a high festival, so the queen can't be bothered, but get them what they need, and off the players go on griffins. It's just a really fun part of the book. It's only about a chapter and a half, but it really gave a nice feel for Celene. So if you haven't read that, I do recommend it. I've taken a look at all the other Gord the Rogues on my channel some years ago. But the other thing about character coming from Celene is you can get down into the Ulics, right around this area, and of course the Pomarge is right there. The Wild Coast, which is an excellent place to have adventures, is right there. The Walkwood is kind of a benign forest. The Sus has a reputation for evil and continuing problems around that area, and then of course the Wild Coast right there is a mix of humanoids to the south and humans to the north. I've done a lot of adventures in Safeton and Narwhal. One of my most successful characters came from Safeton, so it can be a great place to adventure. And of course the city of Greyhawk is right there, and then you've got Divers to the north. You've got the Nirdiv right there, and the Woolly Bay off of here. So there's just a ton you can do. North, you go up to Verbabank. Verbabank famously is near where the Temple of Elemental Evil was. And you've got Voluna over here, and then the Kingdom of Furiandi, which is kind of in the heart of my campaign for decades. All this right close to Celene. So if you ever want to have your player characters start in an Elven kingdom, it's only one of two, the other one being Highfolk, which is to the north. Highfolk is right here, just off of Furiandi. That's the only other Elven establishment I can think of off the top of my head. I don't think there's any to the east. But there you have Celene just sitting alone, and Serene in Celene. I'm sure that's where they came from, where the name came from. And it's just a place your player characters can visit. There's not going to be a ton of adventure in Celene, unless as I said, I did a game where they were thwarting an assassination attempt on the queen. But there can be a ton of fun from it. You can find an old artifact or powerful magic item in the Wild Coast, and it actually was from one of the ruling houses of Celene that had originally owned it. It was stolen. So the players can go there and return the item and gain the favor of the Elven court, things like that. There's a lot of stuff you can do. The Cron Hills, ton of adventure opportunities, the Lort Mills themselves, and then of course the Ulick counties, the Pomarge. There's just a lot you can do around here. So I do recommend Celene as a great place to visit and maybe even live if you're so inclined. But let me know what you think. Have you used Celene in your campaign? If so, have you had a lot of success, or is it just kind of a civilized and boring place that your players just can't wait to get through? Let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested to hear. But I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Please leave comments below, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Also tell your friends. Let's keep growing the channel. And if there's other places of Greyhawk you would want to hear about, please comment below, and I'll see what I can do. That's it for today on page 121. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.